Do you need a visa to visit the United States? The answer depends largely on where you're from. This is immigration attorney Amanda Thomas. In today's video, I am going to go over the different ways that you can enter the United States as a visitor and how to apply for each of those so that you can find the one that works best for you. There are generally two broad categories of visas or entries into the United States. That is non-immigrant and immigrant. Everything that I'm going to talk about in the video today is considered non-immigrant. What route you take to enter the United States as a non-immigrant visitor depends largely on what country you are a citizen of. The U.S. allows entry without a visa for citizens of some countries, but requires a visa for citizens of other countries. For citizens of Canada and Bermuda, you generally do not need a visa to enter the United States as a visitor. You just need a valid passport. However, you have to be really careful about the purpose you're entering the United States for, and you have to make sure that it complies with the rules under the law that grants you permission to enter the United States without a visa. Check the link in the box below to make sure that the purpose of your visit to the United States complies with the law and to make sure that you're allowed to come to the United States without a visa for the purpose that you're intending. Aside from citizens of Canada and Bermuda, citizens from some other countries may be allowed to visit the United States without getting a visa if they can use the electronic system for travel authorization, or ESTA. ESTA is the system used to determine your eligibility for the visa waiver program. The Visa Waiver Program is run by the U.S. Department of State, and it allows visa-free entry for up to 90 days for those who have travel authorization under the Visa Waiver Program. There are 40 countries in the Visa Waiver Program, and these are countries that the United States has determined are a low risk for a visa overstay. The process to receive ESTA authorization is really quick. It takes about 3 days and you can apply online. I will put links in the box below to find out if your country is in the Visa Waiver Program, and I will put a link for the online application. If you would like to visit the United States longer than 90 days, or if you are from a country that is not part of the Visa Waiver Program, you are going to have to apply for a B1, B2 visitor's visa. Generally, there are 2 steps to requesting a visitor's visa. First, you have to fill out the DS-160, and then you have to schedule an interview. The DS-160 is filled out online. Most interview appointments are also scheduled online on a website called ustraveldocs.com. Not all countries are on ustraveldocs.com, so if your country is not on that website, you should look at the U.S. Embassy in your country to find out how to schedule an appointment to get a visitor's visa. At the interview for your visitor's visa, the consular officer is required to presume that you have immigrant intent, and it is your burden to prove that you don't. An applicant can prove that they don't have immigrant intent by proving that they have strong ties to their home country. Some of the things that can prove strong ties to your home country include a job, owning property, having family there, and having return tickets home. A consular officer will also take into consideration your purpose for traveling to the United States. For instance, if you're traveling to the United States to meet an immediate relative, they may believe that you have more reason to stay in the United States than to return home, and they may deny your visa. The consular officer will look at the totality of the circumstances. everything that you have pulling you back to your home country, but also reasons that may make it more likely that you will overstay your visa in the United States to try to stay there permanently. B1/B2 visitors visas are generally valid for 10 years and they allow you multiple entries. Every time you enter the United States on a B1/B2 visitor's visa, the Customs and Border Patrol officer will make a determination about how long they will allow you into the U.S. on that particular visit. Generally, a Customs and Border Patrol officer will admit you for 6 months. However, it could be longer or shorter depending on your personal situation. So what can you expect when entering on a visitor's visa? You can expect the Customs and Border Patrol officer to ask you questions. A lot of the questions that a Customs and Border Patrol officer might ask you are going to be similar to the questions that the consular officer asked you. The Customs and Border Patrol officer is going to be concerned about whether or not they believe you're going to overstay, or whether or not they believe that you are going to do things in the United States that are not allowed as a visitor. If you intend on entering the United States as a visitor to do things like visit the Grand Canyon or to see New York City, you're going to be totally fine. But you should be aware that Customs and Border Patrol officers have the right to refuse you entry. You should always be honest with Customs and Border Patrol officers because making a misrepresentation to a CPB officer can have very serious consequences on any future travel or potential immigration to the United States. You are also going to want to be very careful about the things that you do while you're in the United States. So what are some of the things that you're not allowed to do while in the United States on a visitor's visa? The 3 most common ways that people violate their non-immigrant status in the United States are overstaying their visa, working without authorization, or committing a crime. These things can all cause you big problems. If you overstay your visa, your ESTA authorization can be revoked, or the more serious consequence is if you overstay your visa long enough, you can potentially face a ban. Some violations of your non-immigrant status in the United States can even lead to a permanent bar or prevent you from ever potentially immigrating or visiting the United States in the future ever again. So you're going to want to be very careful that you don't violate your non-immigrant status while visiting the United States. The United States is a beautiful place. We have a lot of vibrant cities, historical landmarks, and natural beauty for you to explore. And we would be really happy to have you as a guest. If you found this video helpful, if you found this video informative, of course, I would hope that you would like my video and subscribe so that you can be notified whenever I post anything new.